Fellow ETers, you too can write a book. So, Mr. Smeck, what you're telling me is that I shouldn't be an English major. You'd like me to change majors because my writing isn't very good. That's what you're telling me. Picture hearing that as an 18-year-old who's planned her own program in health and writing because she wants to be an author. I went to the University of Illinois, and they didn't have a program in what I wanted, so I created one for myself, health and writing. My rhetoric teacher, my very first teacher at U of I, sat me down and said, I don't think you're cut out to be an English major. I think you should change majors. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, I was so hurt. I was so angry. I was devastated. But did I wallow in it? I totally did. I'm so sorry to say. I took it seriously. This guy was supposed to be a big shot. He was a PhD. He was an accomplished writer. He was well known. And he was telling me, I don't think this is going to work, lady. And at 18, I was like, really? Because I had figured this all out. I was going to go to U of I. I was going to have my own program in health and writing. And I was going to be happy with it. And it took me a while to put it all together. So, fast forward many years later. Now, I've been a published writer for many years. What I'm doing now, which I totally love and I've gotten really good at because I practice it constantly, I work with other people to get their stories told, whether they're nonfiction or fiction. Fellow ETers, you too can write a book. There are three concerns that people often mention to me when they're trying to decide if they want to work on a book with me. The first one is, Pat, I'm not a writer. The second one is, I don't have the time, and will it sell? And the third is, I don't know how to do it. In three cases, those concerns were the concerns of the 3 books that came out. And we overcame the concerns. The first concern, I'm not a writer. I connected with somebody because his granddaughter was working at the Pritzker Military Library, and I had made a program for veterans. And they would come and we would work together to write out their memories of their war experiences. And her grandfather wanted somebody to help him with her memoirs. And so I asked, could I be that person? And he was very candid with me over the phone. He didn't live locally. And what he said to me was, I'm not a writer. I quit school in high school. But Pat, this is my dream. I've always wanted to write a book. And I said, tell me more. So we talked for a while. This guy was a bartender. Could he tell stories? Did he have a wonderful story for the book? He did. In the early 80s, he got in with Miami Vice in Florida. When I say he got in with Miami Vice, the celebrities, the cocaine, the alcohol, this guy should have been dead several times. And the stories he told were riveting. So I interviewed him, and we got his words down on paper, and then we could both work with him. And that was the first book that I self-published with someone. Hey Bartender, it was called. The next issue that came up, or concern, was I've written these things down, but I don't have the time to make it better, and really, is this gonna sell? Fellow E-Tears, I know you can write books because this was an ET member who approached me. He'd written his own memoir of how he conquered panic attacks and anxiety, and he said, I don't have the time to work on this. I'm an information systems guy with a really heavy workload. I'm dating the woman of my dreams, and I've got all kinds of other things I'm doing. Can you help me with this? And by the way, can you tell me how to make it sell? So he and I worked together on it, and out came A Life Less Anxious by Steve Pavlanis, and he credited me as co-author as well. The third person that I worked with who had the concern about, I don't know how to do it, very smart, very attractive. So what does she need me for, right? Well, she'd never been through the process of building content into something significant. And she wanted to sell the cause that she had in mind. And the cause is, when you've got a very young child and they're struggling with learning, you need to get to them right away and work with them as soon as you can, as early as you can. Start working with them and keep working with them, because if they get into school without help, they're going to be lost and they're going to hate school, and it's going to ruin their school experience. So she came to me. I said, look, I've worked on several books. I have a certificate in publishing from the U of C. My background is mostly medical type writing, so I've done all kinds of, you name the topic, I've probably done something on it. So that book came out, and it's Learning Decoded. Understanding and using your child's unique learning style to improve academic performance. So, fellow E-Tears, what I'm trying to tell you is you can do anything through practice and persistence. My little 18-year-old self didn't know better. She just had a plan and decided, I'm going to do this. I don't care what this guy tells me. So I know that if you have it in your soul to write something that's meant to get out there in the world, you'll be able to do it. So don't think that anything is an obstacle to you. And if you'd like some suggestions on how to get started, or if you'd like to work with me, I'm open to it. Thank you very much.